In a timeline altered due to the entity known as Q, instead of the United Federation of Planets, the Confederation of Earth would be born. And in humanity's bid to conquer the cosmos, the CSS World Razer would be created. But what do we know about this battleship of the line? Well, today we'll find out. Hello and welcome to another episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon, a Star Trek web series that dives into the history of any given topic, using beta canon sources and my own imagination to fill in the gaps. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the CSS World Razer, as first seen in Star Trek Picard Season 2, created by the amazing starship designer Sean Tourangeau to better understand its place in Star Trek history. After making what feels like millions of starship videos on this channel, I'll oftentimes jump at the chance to create something a little different from my usual starship commentary, and thus this video has come into existence. Now, very little is actually known in canon or even beta canon about the World Razer, and so what I've done here is attempted to give it a story that you all could enjoy. But please note, as this is mostly just my imagination running wild, all information relayed should pretty much be taken with a grain of stardust, and only considered a little bit of Star Trek fun. And so, with all that out of the way, let's begin. The CSS World Razer, the most advanced and powerful starship ever created by the Confederation of Earth, had started out as a dream project of the man who would end up commanding her, General Jean-Luc Picard. To this point in the Confederation's history, there had been 5 World Razers, all of different battleship classes, and all with stunning and victorious histories. But General Picard, perhaps out of his ambitious nature, would want the World Razer D to top all history that had come before it. Having commanded the CSS Starkiller after vaporizing its captain Jack Crusher for refusing to fire upon the Davit homeworld, Picard, then captain, had made a heroic name for himself in service to the Confederation, bringing several galactic species under the direct authority of that organization. With the destruction of the World Razer C during the Confederation attack on Narendra III, a glimmer of a dream began to form in Picard's mind, a battleship the likes of which no one had ever seen before, to take up the mantle of the World Razer. Using his power and influence within the Confederation, now General Picard enlisted the assistance of several renowned starship designers to begin to plan out the new World Razer. And with these plans in hand, Picard would approach the President of Earth and be granted permission to begin his pet project. And in the name of a safe galaxy being a human galaxy, the World Razer D would be born. Sitting at a length of 642 meters and 42 decks tall, the World Razer would be designed to be operated by 1,000 officers and crew members, with an additional 2,000 military personnel assigned to the starship. These military personnel would be under the direct authority of General Picard, and would be the cream of their crop in their field of expertise, such as flight officers, combat specialists, and of course, intelligence gathering officers. The CSS World Razer would contain all the latest advances in Confederation technology, including enhanced phaser arrays and phaser cannons, transphasic torpedo launchers, and of course, bioneural circuitry. Her transwarp drive systems would also be among the best ever designed for a starship up to this point in Confederation history. The CSS World Razer D would also include newly designed and powerful fighter craft, with her secondary hull dedicated almost entirely to those support facilities. Once launched, the CSS World Razer would almost immediately make a name for herself, much to the adulation of the Confederation's citizens, bringing the people of Deneb 4 under the control of Earth, destroying 2 powerful life forms that Deneb 4 had been utilizing to keep the Confederation at bay. On military date 41242.4, the World Razer would visit Omicron Theta, the home planet of Lore, the World Razer's second officer. And while there, they would discover the secret laboratory of Dr. Noonien Soong, Lore's creator, and a primitive version of Lore himself, which was known as Data. Collecting everything from Dr. Soong's lab, including data, and turning these materials over to Confederation Command, Earth's best cybernetic scientists would take Data apart and begin the daunting process of recreating Soong's work. This also repaired a slightly damaging blight on General Picard's record, as when he originally heard of Lore's discovery by the CSS Nugura, he had used all his influence to keep Lore intact and to be assigned under his command, seeing the benefit of having an android officer. And as a result of public sentiment towards Picard at the time, the President of Earth had agreed to place Lore under Picard's command, and only allowed scans of the android's technology. But now, with data for Earth's scientists at the Daystrom War Institute to dissect, freely given over to them by Picard, there was no doubt of the General's loyalty to the advancement of Earth. Under the task force command of General Picard and the World Razer, the Klingon Empire, the Ferengi Alliance, and even the Gorn Hegemony would fall under the boot of the Confederation, using specially designed bioweapons and defectors to bring these threats to their knees. But General Picard was far more nuanced than a blunt weapon, oftentimes using secret projects and missions to eliminate threats to Earth. For example, in the early 2380s, during one of the last missions in which he commanded the World Razer, General Picard would end his triumphant career on that starship by secretly destabilizing the Romulan star, which in turn would destroy the entire Romulan star system, effectively ending the Star Empire's threat. And earlier, in 2365, while exploring System J25, General Picard would come up against the greatest threat the Confederation would ever encounter, the Borg Collective. And although successful in defeating this first cube, General Picard knew that they would be back, and began plans to end that particular threat once and for all. Having the Confederation's best engineer, Geordi LaForge, and Lore work together, this dynamic super duo would create a technological virus designed to infect and destroy the Borg from the inside out. Then, in another display of loyalty and heroics, General Jean-Luc Picard would allow himself to be captured by the Borg, and assimilated in order to introduce the virus into the collective. And shortly after the virus had taken root in the Borg systems, Commander Yar and Commander Lore would rescue Picard, and Dr. Crusher would undo the Borg cybernetic damage the collective had done, allowing General Picard to watch the fruits of his labor as vessel after vessel of the Borg collective was rendered inoperative and easily destroyed by the Confederation fleet. And even when the Bajoran star system was liberated from Cardassian oppression, during the short Confederation-Cardassian War, the World Razer would lead several missions into the Gamma Quadrant to help quell the Dominion threat. And by the 25th century, the last Borg in existence, the Queen herself, would be captured and scheduled for termination in a public display on Earth commemorating Eradication Day, a day of celebration for eliminating any and all threats to Earth. The CSS World Razer D would end up having a glorious career for Earth, receiving periodic refits and upgrades during her lifetime as new technologies became available or were acquired. Under the command of General Jean-Luc Picard, the World Razer would go on proving Earth's motto to the galaxy for all to witness, that a safe galaxy is a human galaxy, earning the CSS World Razer her rightful place in Confederation history. Thank you for watching today's episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon. What do you think of the World Razer and the historical narrative that I've created here? Do you want to see more videos like this one? Well, leave your comments in the section below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, hitting that little bell icon so you won't miss a single video we release. Want to help the channel make the galaxy safe for humanity? Then consider becoming a channel patron. a major help which allows this channel to buy resources and 3D models to keep it going. The link to our Patreon account is in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Live long and hopefully prosper.